From Los Angeles, California, we're the Mad Scientist Party Hour.
Oh! Hi there, friends! Welcome back to another episode of Mad Scientist Party Hour. My name is Kevin Kraft, joined by a man who just got mugged for his pants and undies and is currently whacking his boner off at gunpoint. That's Geoff Clark.
What's up? I'm actually doing this episode with no pants.
Prove it.
Yeah, stand up.
It's just boxers.
Yeah. Boo. And Brian. Oh, nice poop stains. And broadcasting from his haunted He-Man closet, the bearded booger-eating specter known as Shuddy Boy.
Yo. What's up, fellas?
Yeah. About a trillion different things, man. It's fucking weird out there. It's fucking weird.
Oh?
Weird shit. Yeah.
What happened weird?
Yeah.
Or are you just riffing, or did something weird actually happen?
Yeah, we can cover that another time. But
okay.
I mean, I did just sneak in between last week and today, an East Coast visit where I came the closest to missing a flight that I ever have in my life. The only time I ever missed a flight was when I was still with Sirius, and we were going to do a show from the Indy 500, and the EP told me there were no direct flights, so I was told, instead of booking this flight this connecting flight that's $100 more, book this one to, save this big corporation a tiny bit of money. And I was like, well, the layover is 25 minutes. There's a very good chance that I won't make it. And I believe there were also storms forecast. So I was like, it's probably going to get delayed going there. And then when we got to the airport, I was like, look, my flight just got delayed 45 minutes. I am not making a 25-minute connecting flight. And he was like, just go anyway and see what happens. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You have got to be fucking kidding me. All right, I'll fucking go.
Where was the layover? Do you remember?
Virginia, maybe? But flight got delayed longer than 45 minutes. And he was like, oh, they know a bunch of people are trying to make that connecting flight, so they'll probably just delay that one and hold it so everybody can get on. 100% did not happen. I landed. I get off. I turn my phone back on. I check the flights. Departed. So I was like, oh, fucking cool. So I get off the plane, and everybody, like so many people, misconnecting flights. So I get in this massive line for customer service, and it took about 2 or 3 hours of waiting in line to talk to somebody, and I was like, yep, I'm kind of fucked here, missed my connecting flight, I'm doing a live show tomorrow, and I don't know if there's any way I can get there in time, and they were like, there's no way to get there in time. You're fucked. And also, every hotel in the area is completely booked up because so many people missed flights. So there's nowhere for you to stay. So I slept in the airport, like Tom Hanks in the terminal, and then had to catch a flight back to LA the next day. So that's the only time in my life I've ever missed a flight, and it was just because I was sent on a fool's errand. There was absolutely no way I was ever going to make that connection. So,
do you have TSA pre-check?
Yeah, and it fucking rules.
So was that like crucial in you making the flight this week?
Kind of, yeah. So I don't.
Can you skip those lines if you're like late?
So
Or if you're running late?
when I was flying back last night, this family came up and they were like, "Hey," and they showed me their boarding pass. They're like, "We only have 25 minutes to make our flight. Can you let us cut?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it."
Did
And
someone punch you in the side of the head?
well,
That's
no,
hilarious.
they were asking everybody the entire way, and then because I was pretty close to the end anyway, but they asked everybody in front of me, and they were all like, "Yeah, go for it, go for it." So they got right through. I don't know if they made their flight or not, but I don't know what's going on. So LAX, I usually go what I guess is the main entrance. But lately, my last few flights, a lot of times I'm going from Carl's place, but even this time going from Studio City, I keep going from this side ramp. And no matter what time of day I fly, no matter what day of the week, whether it's a weekday, weekend, holiday, not a holiday, it's constantly just butt fucked. So, I checked my GPS before calling an Uber, and I was going to get there, I think, an hour and a half before my flight left, and the GPS did not take into account the traffic just to get on that ramp to enter LAX. And it was about 45...
Would it not have been
what?
quicker to get out of the Uber and just walk to the airport the rest of the way?
I've done that before. I may have actually done that twice. From this same fucking ramp. I don't know. I guess next time, tell the Uber driver, be like, dude, just don't take that back way, whatever that is. It fucks me every time. So this guy, this Uber driver, he kind of looked like if you mixed Sammy Hagar with the singer of the Spin Doctors. And he was kind of like a chilled, laid-back guy. He looks like he had a really good time in the 80s and is now still kind of the same cool dude, but I guess there's a smaller crowd.
Doesn't have a family?
Yeah, there's a smaller crowd to appreciate him. But he was fucking cool. But he got so aggressive because he wasn't expecting this either. And I'm guessing as an Uber driver, it kind of fucks you too if you're sitting in all that traffic. So he's like honking at people, like riding people's bumpers with like a centimeter between it so people can't cut in. It was fucking chaos. And I finally get there and I run over because I had to check a bag. So I go to the one of those kiosks because I already prepaid to check the bag, and it's like error, cannot check your bag due to you're too late. You can only check a bag if you get in 45 minutes or later, or I guess I don't know, earlier.
35 minutes or earlier
to the flight taking off. So I go to one of the desks with a human, and I'm like, that thing's not letting me check my bag. And she looks at my boarding pass. Oh, sorry, I just vomited in my mouth a little bit. And she's like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to make it. I can try. She's like, you have to sign this piece of paper that says your luggage might not make it. I'm like, oh, cool. She was like, worst case scenario, it'll go out on a later flight, and you'll just have to come back to the airport a few hours later to pick your bag up. It's just like, all right, sick. Luckily, TSA pre-check went right through, and I got there as they were wrapping up boarding. But and my luggage made it. But holy fucking shit. Closest I've ever come to missing a flight. Geoff, you travel a decent amount, being that lots of your family's back on the East Coast. Have you ever missed a flight?
No. And I've gotten dangerously close. And I almost have been cocky about arriving to the airport on time. I do not like getting there sooner than an hour before my flight leaves.
I'm the same way.
Just because like everyone else, this isn't a me specific take, but everyone hates the airport, I think, or hates air travel. So as little time as I can spend in the airport, the better, obviously. And again, maybe I'm just kind of spoiled. I've been doing it the same way. I've traveled my entire life and I've never missed a flight. But yeah, is it What really fucked you, it seems like, was just the Uber aspect of the driving or the LA commute, which is obviously the biggest concern for us LAX or Los Angeles residents.
Yeah, it
Have
sucks
you
ass.
ever have you ever flown out of Long Beach?
No.
You should do it, and you can crash at my place the night before, depending on like your schedule, obviously, and when the plane leaves, and just experience it. It's gonna make your heart feel so much better about traveling out of Southern California. Um, and I thought the Uber ride for you or for most people in LA to LAX is like $100. Did you spend $100 on it?
Uh, so the Uber there actually wasn't all that bad. I mean, I gave the guy a nice tip because his aggressive driving got me there with like minutes to spare. So I hooked that dude up. But the taxi I took back last night was $100. Yeah, to get from LA
Why
to
did you do
Studio
a
City.
taxi last night instead of an Uber?
It's weird the way that LAX does Ubers now. You have to walk from your gate to this weird fucking repurposed parking lot, and
It's
there's
like a mile long walk.
yeah, it sucks. And there's like a line of taxis in the middle, and then there's a line of Ubers, Lyfts, and some other one that's called like Ubangi or some shit. I don't know what that other one is, but they have signs for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like I don't know how you. I've never done it because I don't know how you call an Uber that's already there. So I'm just like, whatever. I'll just take a taxi. It's probably going to be the same price, and fuck Uber for all their bullshit charges. But then again, the taxi gets you too because when you get in, this fucking guy has a touchscreen and he just programs all this shit to just the meter starts at 0, and when he's done programming, it's at like $8, and then he starts driving.
Yeah, because there's an initial ride fee that they get.
And they
And then
ding
it's
you
like-
with an airport fee. And it's like, come on. Like, you're a taxi. You take people from the airport. Why do I have to pay it's like a door opening fee, a door closing fee? And that's kind of like, I think I might have told this within the last year, but House of Blues in Hollywood, I was going to a show there, and I was looking at tickets online, and once I got to the checkout, all the fucking fees, like convenience fee, online fee, energy fee, all this bullshit, I was just like, I'm not paying all that shit. I live like 2 miles from the House of Blues. I'll just drive to the box office. And then I get to the box office, and I look at my receipt, and then there's like box office fee, in-person fee. It's just, there's no way to escape the trillions of dicks coming at you from every conceivable angle.
So here's a question for you, okay? Would you rather, so with the Ticketmaster, we'll just use the online ticket purchasing fee. That's something we're all very familiar with. Would you rather the ticket price be increased that amount so you don't see the fee, or would you rather see the fee separated out?
I think I'd rather it all be together. Like,
So,
because I feel like you're
if
jerking
you
me
were-
off.
If you were looking at concert tickets and you saw $45 plus $15 in fees, so it was $60, would you be more likely to buy that one or just buy the one that's $60 no fee, showing no fees?
$60, because I feel like the $45 plus fees is them trying to trick me, and I don't like being
100%.
tricked.
It 100% sort of is. But then do people see that and be like, oh, $60 is too expensive, whereas they'll just be like, say it was $45 and if I want to go, I have to pay this extra $15.
I don't know. Maybe a majority of people feel that way, but it's the same way as when you go to get gas, and it's like $3.99 a gallon, and then 9/10 of a penny. It's like, you fucking scumbags! Why are they allowed to do that? Nobody else is allowed to charge you a 9/10 of a penny. Like, it's just the most condescending bullshit, pat on the head trickery ever. It's like, you think you're fooling anybody with that 9/10 of a penny, you scum-sucking fucks.
Oh wow!
Sorry,
I like that.
I had to do a lot of traveling. I got a fucking
That's
headache.
that's like one of the things Clark Griswold said when he blew up in his former boss.
You monkey licking, dog kissing.
Scum sucking. What did you say? Scum sucking ass fuckers. I don't even know, but it was good.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It was too
I'll
too
tell you
long
what,
ago.
I was talking to someone. I'm kind of under the weather, and I got sick Saturday. I'll be all right.
I'm kind of under the weather too, man. I got a headache. I got a fever.
Makes sense for you. It's traveling. You were just traveling.
Yeah.
Sounds like Kevin
Typically you get sick.
has got COVID again.
Yeah, probably.
I could.
But don't test for it. You don't need that in your life.
No, I did take a test today. It's
oh, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good for now. Because I remember the last time I got COVID, I felt like shit for like 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm coughing. I have a fever. I have a headache. How do I not have COVID right now? And like the third day of testing, it was positive. I'm like, all right, there we fucking go.
That was like right before we went to New Orleans, right, for your birthday? Didn't you get it from traveling? Like you traveled earlier that week. You picked it up from your maybe your grandmother or cousin in Florida, came back, and there was a COVID scare, but you're traveling to New Orleans. Maybe I'm making this up.
No, there was, because my mom and my sister and my grandma were supposed to go, and my mom and my sister, I think, both got COVID because my aunt, 2 days after we had a big family party, tested positive. And I was just like, I was testing myself and waiting for it, and I think I got it once I got back from New Orleans, but I'm kind of in the same boat now where, I mean, we were actually supposed to start shooting John Cooper today, but, with the SAG strike looming, we pushed it to September, which is why I was able to go on this trip back east for my grandma's birthday party. But like, I'm kind of hoping. I mean, I know I already said this on a previous episode, and a couple people got mad at me, but I'm kind of hoping to go for round 3 with COVID. That way, my immune system is jacked up. Yeah, because if production gets shut down because somebody else gets COVID, it's a bummer. But like, if you're the director, like everybody's fine, but the director went out and got fucking COVID, we have to like shut down and postpone, and who knows? With a indie low budget feature like this, it could fuck the whole thing. So
just wear an N95 everywhere you go until production is over.
I still see people wearing masks at the gym, and like I went to Target this weekend, which we could talk about if you want, because it's pretty much my Normandy. But
oh wait, yeah, I have that note in my phone.
I fucking hate Target. But I watched a few people put on masks before going in there. I want to put on fucking like battle armor. I can't stand that place. But what are we talking about? Anyways, I was under the weather. I was talking to someone this weekend about I might have to pick you up from the airport because I threw it out to you because I think a true measure of a friend or a strength of a friend is being able to pick that person up from the airport. I know you've been kind of going through it lately, so I offered to help you out, even though, as you know, and as everyone knows, going to LAX is the fucking absolute worst.
Yeah.
Like there's Los Angeles traffic, and then there's going to LAX. It's like another tier of terrible.
Yeah. Would you, Geoff?
I mean, that's how I knew that we were really more than frenemies, is when you drove me from Kevin to LAX. Like that was when I realized that Geoff's not that bad.
Yeah. All that said, though, dude, like I would rather pick you up from Long Beach Airport, drive you back to your place in Studio City, and then drive home, then go to fucking LAX, which is on the way to your place, and then drop you off there.
Yeah. Would you rather get your prostate checked by Andre the Giant, or pick me up at LAX?
I mean, I think Andre the Giant would be thorough and give me an answer pretty quick.
You've got some
Definitely
bad news. You've got ass cancer.
I mean, I don't know. You should try flying out of Long Beach just once. Got the hookup right here.
I mean,
The Uber from my place is like
Burbank.
$10, $15, which you wouldn't even have to pay for. But
Burbank is right
So-
by me, and like, it would be nice if they didn't just Andre the Giant you in the ass over ticket prices. I don't even know how anybody uses that fucking airport. It's so goddamn expensive. But that would be closer than LAX. I feel like it would be, and what the fuck do I know? But like, if Long Beach and Burbank had more options and lower prices, they could drink LAX's milkshake. But I mean, I'm sure majority of the people listening are nowhere near LAX and could give a flying fuck. But what's going on with you and feeling like microwave dog poop?
I don't know. Just got sick of it. Maybe I haven't been getting enough sleep. But yeah, kind of nasally. Had some sinus shit, body weakness past couple of days. I did nothing all of Sunday, which was kind of in the plans already, but I couldn't do it much even if I wanted to. So nothing too bad. Something I'll shake off. I would really like to go play basketball tomorrow morning. So hopefully I feel good tomorrow morning, but I don't know if it's going to be,
Maybe
if it's in the cards.
we talked about this in the Easter egg, but maybe since you've started eating healthier and you're having overnight oats for breakfast, maybe your body is in shock. It's like, nutrients. What happened to all the fucking fried
What
chicken?
do we do with these?
Yeah, I'm overloaded. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe my body just isn't equipped for healthy food. It's only been the last couple days though. Like I got sick before I tried my first overnight oats package,
Oh,
so I
okay.
can't put it on them. Although that would be a convenient way for me to eat unhealthy again. I
Yeah.
mean, got the Travelers Championship this weekend. I'm almost 100% going to go to McDonald's breakfast Sunday, or to McDonald's for breakfast Sunday.
Well, could it be related to an element of the story you told last week that you left out? When you went out
What?
drinking with everybody and then you decided to take a scooter?
Oh, I had no idea what you were talking about. Yeah, I didn't purposefully leave this out of the story. I don't know why I forgot about it. I don't think I don't have a bruise anymore. I don't. Should I
Shuddy-
send you a picture of the bruise?
No.
But
But Shuddy's the one.
Bruise.
Shuddy, you have to analyze it because you have functioning eyeballs.
No, I don't have a bruise. I saw it. There's no bruise.
No,
right?
I don't see a bruise. I also don't see a muscle, but that's a whole nother story.
for sure.
So you're saying you
Dude,
go
I've
to the
been
gym, huh?
weightlifting lately. Come on.
How do you
No, you're
use
right.
that arm to pick up anything, Geoff? It looks so just no muscles at all.
Tell you
I
what,
am
my
a
dick is too
necrophiliac.
big for my right arm.
I am a
No,
necrophiliac.
just kidding.
Fuck.
What are we talking about? Oh, anyways. Yeah. So last weekend I was talking, I told you guys about how I went to the
beer garden and
beer garden and Hooters, and I took a scooter to get to Hooters.
I took a scooter to Hooters.
Yeah, I took a scooter to Hooters. And I was pretty high. You know, that's one of my favorite things to do is get high and ride around on scooters. But I like spaced out in the first like 2 minutes on the scooter and like forgot to hit the brake. And as I was like going towards a parked car, and instead of like braking, because my brain went fucking stupid, I turned to slow down, which kind of worked. But then I hit this fucking truck with like my side and my shoulder. And like I had a big ass bruise on this from hitting this truck. I was super embarrassed because it was in the middle of the day in Long Beach. Luckily, no one saw me. and I made sure there was no damage done to the back of the truck because if I did, I would have I don't know, leave a note or do something.
So what kind of a truck was
But
this? Like a delivery truck or like a Jeep?
it was like a pickup truck. It was
So like
not like a delivery truck though.
it was a
pickup
personal vehicle. Okay.
truck.
So
Yeah.
so this thing
And
was
it wasn't like brand new or anything. It wasn't in great condition, but I didn't add any damage to it.
So where were you looking that you were able to crash a scooter? So wait, did you see the truck? Because I remember you were telling me that you just forgot to brake. So you were so high that you saw a truck in front of you, but you just full speed ahead crashed into it?
I saw it for like a good 200 yards. Yeah.
And you just stayed the course. You played a game of chicken with a parked car.
All right. So you know what happened? I was in the bike lane. So the bike lane, there's in Long Beach on Broadway, it's a two-way street. There's parking on both sides, but there's a bike lane on both sides. And the parking is closer to the street than the bike lane. So you have like, if you're on the bike lane, you have parked cars, right? But the fucking like scooter was broken or retarded or something. And it kept like yelling at me, get off the sidewalk, get off the sidewalk. And I wasn't on the sidewalk. I was on the bike path.
So you got confused. I didn't know that those scooters, because people ride them on the sidewalk all the time. And, back when I was going into the office, I would rent them every now and then to just go pick up lunch or dinner or something. And I rode it on the sidewalk a bunch. I saw other people ride them on the sidewalk a bunch. Is that a new function that they put in to get people off?
I don't know. I mean, you were never supposed to. Well, I'm not gonna say never, but you're not supposed to ride them on the sidewalk, and I don't want to ride it on the sidewalk. But the street is tight that if I'm on the street, like people can't really pass me, and that's fucking like that's probably really annoying for people driving a car. Like, look at this pussy on the scooter. Like, get on the bike lane, right? Which is where I should be and where I wanted to be. But I was so annoyed by hearing this. And there was no cars coming that I was like, all right, I'm gonna steer into the lane, the driving lane. And I had to like,
don't do it.
What this?
And I fucking I was trying to turn into the driving lane and I didn't like brake while I was turning and I didn't turn fast enough to like miss the truck. And there's a part of me where I had to slow down to make sure there was no cars coming, like officially. Like I looked back, there was no cars, looked back again, but I was still like, maybe there is a car coming. But I didn't make all these moves consecutively with enough time to dodge the truck. So I just like fucking hit the back of the truck and ate one on the shoulder.
So wait, I'm trying to picture this in my head, but I'm really struggling. You were in the bike lane.
Yeah.
The scooter starts yelling at you.
Yelling at me.
Yeah, it's yelling at you, telling you to get off the sidewalk. And you're like, but I'm not on the sidewalk. And you're super high. So it crossed the wires in your brain. You got confused. You decided to go out into the traffic lane.
Yeah.
And you hit a truck, but nobody was in it.
Yeah, it was a parked truck. Because like I was saying, in between the traffic lane and the bike lane, there was a spot for parking.
Oh,
so
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
it's a very embarrassing moment, which is pretty much what we specialize here on MSPH. And for whatever reason, I was maybe just so excited about the fact that I got out of the house and did stuff. I did something that Friday, and you probably remember better than me because my my memory is shit, and I didn't even remember this story, the first or the last, or this week, last week or this week. So I did something Friday and Saturday, and I just forgot about this, which is probably the best story of all of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm guessing you were going pretty fast when you crashed into the truck, and if you crash a scooter into a non-moving heavy object, Like, what happened to the scooter? Did you like crash into the car, you and the scooter fall to the street? Or did you somehow stay on your feet after the collision?
I stayed on my feet, but it was no scooter to truck. It was all my arm inside. Like kind of the wind knocked out of me for a second. And like one of those, like when Beavis or Butthead gets hit.
Yeah.
Like one of those. Just like kind of gathered myself, like looked around, like, oh, that's embarrassing. Does anyone see me? No. All right. Let me check the truck here. Okay, the truck is good. All right, I'm good to go, I guess. Scooter still got my credit card attached to it. I can still go. Let's go to Hooters. Move on.
Man, you need your own fucking TV show, Geoff.
I told my buddies when I got there, it wasn't even like anything I was hiding. It was just like I just spaced out and giving you guys the scoop. I had a gnarly bruise on my arm, but it's gone away.
It cleared up quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what? This is like 10 days ago now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Man, I feel like my bruises hang around forever. But, yeah, I went
get a
to
lot of bruises though, dude. Just like playing basketball and shit. Like I'm down to play physical, so I'll get bruised up here or there. I got like I'm a fucking little kid. My ex used to always make fun of me about it.
Why?
It's like I just would come home like I was playing outside. Like I was like horsing around with my friends.
She has to spray some like Bactine on your knee, give you a Band-Aid and a juice box.
Fucking Neosporin and shit.
Well, following up on another thing from last week, we randomly put a poll up asking the Puminati if they have seen Happy Gilmore. And I'm very, very happy to announce that the poll results were pretty much where we wanted them to be. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be 100%, but, you know, can't get 100% on anything these days. But 95% of the voting Puminati said that they have seen Happy Gilmore. It was out of just about 200 votes, so I wasn't worried.
Good turnout.
Wasn't worried, but, you know, I had faith in the Puminati to make the right choice there, and they did.
Hopefully that 5% has watched Happy Gilmore since.
I hope so. 5 dicker. I mean,
I wonder if we know any of the Puminati that said no. I mean, we do. Just wondering like who it was.
yeah, if you're like...
I think it's too easy to say Thunderwolf. Like my first thought was like, Thunderwolf probably heard so many good reviews about it, and he's just like, fuck that movie probably sucks. You know if we know how he behaves or his.
I'm willing to bet that Thunderwolf has seen it, but rated it a micro penis.
You give it yeah. All right, that's very Thunderwolf as well.
You guys are just taking shots at Thunderwolf every chance you can.
So bullshit.
He's gonna come for our necks. He's gonna come for our necks, and then you guys are gonna bitch about that.
No way. He's gonna come for your guys' neck. Thunderwolf knows it's all out of love, and I'm a big fan of him. He's what keeps the Puminati, center. We'll say.
But we are going to be doing the comedy movie villain bracket next week. I have looked over everybody's comments from Patreon and YouTube, and I guess I didn't find any on Instagram, but, you know, we took our suggestions, Puminati suggestions, and Geoff, who is the bracket master, is going to have the final call, the final say on what makes it in. And I'm actually surprised at how well it turned out. I was like, I don't know, how many great comedy villains are there to begin with? And even if you think of a good one, it's like, all right, sure, that's a nice spot filler, but does it have a chance to hang? And I feel like we flushed out some pretty good shit.
I mean, there's no we here. It's mostly you. Your list is pretty good. That's what I'm working are basing most of my bracket off of. I'm going to try to throw in a couple more.
But yeah, if you've got any last minute suggestions that you want to try and, sneak in under the radar, maybe there's some obvious ones we haven't thought of. I mean, I saw somebody on YouTube suggest the gopher from Caddyshack, and I'm pretty sure
They need to have speaking lines.
Yeah, and just because he annoyed Bill Murray, I don't think made him the villain. Judge Smales is the clear villain of Caddyshack, and he's a fucking great one. Like, I quote Judge Smales quite often in real life, and I know that's probably just because I'm middle-aged, but you'll get nothing and like it. Like,
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that to your cast on John Cooper. They're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about.
What the hell is Caddyshack? Yeah, I don't want to have that
They talked
moment.
about Caddyshack at the U.S. Open yesterday, actually, which is kind of funny because the U.S. Open was in Los Angeles Country Club, so they were just talking. They have to tie movies into golf when the golf is in L.A.
Is that the regular golf or the terrorist one?
Well, they're both the terrorist one now.
Yeah, technically they're both terrorist golf. Well, the PIF really they've invested, and it's still being looked at by the Department of Justice. But yeah, the Saudis pretty much bought golf, which is kind of a crazy story that we don't really have to unpack. But it's still the non-Saudi PGA Tour for now.
Well, that's good.
And it was the U.S. Open.
Let's see. What else?
I just thought because Caddyshack is kind of a gnarly movie, right? They're doing blow in it and stuff. I've seen it once, and it was when I was far too young, far too long ago. But it's a gnarly movie, right?
Yeah.
Is there nudity?
Yeah. There's titties. It's it's 80s titties, which are cool, and it got put on all the time in my household because my mom had me at 19, so we lived with my grandparents for a while, and my mom has a bunch of sisters and a brother, so my Aunt Ann and my Uncle Robert were basically like my big sister and my big brother growing up. And I saw Star Wars like a billion times because they were always putting it on. I saw Caddyshack a billion times because they were putting it on, and somebody would always cover my eyes for the titties, which was a huge bummer because even back then I did appreciate seeing some honkers.
Somebody. Definitely wasn't Uncle Robert.
No. Definitely not.
Kind of narrows it down.
But I and half the time I didn't even know I wasn't getting the jokes, but I knew what they laughed at, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to reverse engineer this and try and figure out why they're laughing at that. So throughout my life, every time it got put on, the more certain jokes made sense to me. But it was, it was a big quotable movie in my family, so I just assumed that was a classic five-dicker for everybody. And then once, I think it was around the time when I moved out here, I dated 3 girls in a row who had never seen Caddyshack, and I put it on, and they could not have been less impressed. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. I guess you had to be there, huh? You had to see it when you were a kid, and someone was reaching over and covering your eyes for the titties?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was random because I know it is a rated R movie and there's some crazy shit going on that they would talk about it in a golf broadcast on NBC. But I mean, it is a classic, and the conversation, what's the best golf movie ever? So even if it's a rated R with nudity and drugs, you can't talk about golf movies without talking about Caddyshack.
Exactly. I feel like the only competition it has is Happy Gilmore. So it just comes down to, everybody always says Tin Cup. I've seen Tin Cup twice, and it never really moved the needle for me.
I enjoyed Tin Cup.
Well, I know you like Costner. Kevin, do you like Costner?
I like Costner. I don't love Costner. When I was a little kid, my mom, took me to the movies constantly. So she took me to see Field of Dreams, even though I didn't like baseball. It was just all right, a movie, and it looks like there's ghosts in it. Cool, let's do it. But I don't know. Kevin Costner always just kind of seemed like a gym teacher to me. And my gym teachers tended to not be very nice to me in school.
Can't imagine why.
Probably weren't a go-getter in gym, huh?
No, I had a gym teacher when I was in Catholic school. I was doing that thing where you put one arm in your shirt and then you use your outside arm to grab the sleeve, the empty sleeve, and then you go like this in the middle so it looks like you're jerking your dick off or whatever. And then my friends grabbed my other arm, shoved it back in, and tied my sleeves together so I was trapped inside my shirt like a mummy. And the fucking gym teacher comes out, starts yelling at us, and then throws me in face first into a wall, being that I have no hands to brace myself with, so I face planted into the wall. Then he grabbed me by the shoulders and threw me on the ground. Couldn't brace myself for that either.
Fuck,
So,
dude.
yeah, gym teachers was never that big. And they were always making me do push-ups and sit-ups and shit. And I had to fucking hold this girl's feet one time when we were doing sit-ups, and she farted in my face, and I hated it.
I did that to my friend too.
You probably did it on purpose.
I didn't do it on purpose. I was super embarrassed because the class acted like bitches, even though we didn't have co-ed gym. It was only boys, so we should have all been just ripping them. But no, I farted right in my buddy's face, and like they made fun of me about it in class afterwards, which is in front of girls, which is completely fucked. Like you should not be doing that. Like, come on, let's keep it in the gym, fellas.
Farting in school was very faux pas.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to do it. And even guys would make fun of you about it. And
Well, when I was in Bing Boing school, me and my buddy used to eat shrimp ramen before class because it made both of us gassy. And there was about 6 kids in the class. And we would just rip ass at the most inappropriate moments possible. And when we got our yearbooks, I had some of my teachers sign it. And my science teacher signed it, and he said, I think there's a hole in the ozone layer above where you sat in my classroom. I mean, his last name.
Only guys in the...
His last name was Gaskill. He was kind of asking for it.
Yeah, it was out of your hands. Did you have girls in that class?
I think there might have been, but they were girls that I
Or
had
6?
I had absolutely zero interest in, so I didn't mind farting for comedic value in front of them. If there was a girl that I had a crush on,
It's edgy too, right?
I would not beef in front of her.
Fair enough. Yeah, when we went back to class and people were making fun of me and like said, "Oh, Geoff farted in gym class," I was friends with one of the popular kids in school, and like he came to my defense and he just gave the best argument ever, and I still use it to this day. And he was just like, "What do you want him to do? Pop a cork in it?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, buddy, thanks."
He did the
Like
he did the whole
stop giving me shit about it.
he did the whole Billy Madison splashing water. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll fucking fart on all you guys. What's up? It's like, thanks, Nate Bradbury. Still Facebook friends.
Nice. You should DM or message him and be like, "Hey, remember that time when I farted and you came to my defense? That was awesome."
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a Christmas gift.
I had when I went, so in between Catholic school and Bing Boing school, I did, a 4-year stint in just regular public school, and I remember because I was like 80 pounds, and they had us doing pull-ups, and I actually broke the school pull-up record.
What?
Yeah, by 1.
I think he told me this actually.
It wasn't even all that high, but then in the same fucking period, this jock douchebag got up there and beat mine by 1. So I had the school record for less than a period. But then my buddy, Mike, he had gym class in a different period, and when he was doing pull-ups, he got a boner. And
Ooh.
the boner went down his shorts. So they saw bare dickhead and some shaft. And everybody saw it because, like, you do it one at a time, so the entire class is watching you do the pull-ups. His dick pops out of his pants. Everybody starts pointing and laughing.
Did he keep pulling through it?
He was he from what I heard, because I didn't see it, but he was holding himself up for a little bit, like he had done a pull-up. So his chin was above the bar, His dick is hanging out of his pants. Everybody's laughing, and he just held there for a little bit and then let go and started crying. But he was
started crying. Was he crying out of embarrassment? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if there was any pain. Like he didn't have like a severed boner.
But then he was boner boy for the rest of school.
Whenever I see him when I go back home, I call him boner boy.
I think he's dead, but
Oh,
I would
no.
say for the rest of his life he was boner boy.
Not probably. You know what? Let's move on.
You're gonna pile on with something?
Yeah, I mean, did it contribute at all? Like,
No, but I don't think he made it too long past high school. I mean, it was it was the Jersey burbs, so there were quite a few kids I went to high school with that took their partying a little bit too hard. Sadly,
that's what I'm
didn't make
saying.
it.
Maybe he was trying to bury the past.
I think boner boy was the least of his problems, but still, that's one of those things where, I mean, nobody ever accidentally saw my.
Awesome. I felt like it popped out, and you just made like confident eye contact with the nearby lady. It's like as he's doing the pull-up.
I mean, you put an adult thinking brain into that body, and you probably are just gonna all right, well, fuck it. I'm toast, so I might as well lean into this and make something out of it. Like he could have just used that and gotten superhuman strength and beaten the other kid's record that beat me. But dude, did you hear he broke the school pull-up record with a boner? Now that's a champ. He even nutted when he broke it.
You're like a Thurman Merman from Bad Santa. I do pull-ups with his boner. Not with his boner. How can you draw me onto my head? What?
I mean, if you think about it, that is one of the worst things that can play out as far as just mortifying embarrassment in school.
Would you?
I mean, I got freshman year of high school, I got pants going into science class, and they got the boxers too. So that's pretty high up there on the embarrassment.
Shuddy.
Who's they? Is it Dom?
No. It was some dickhead asshole kids in my class.
And what grade was
friends with?
What grade was this?
Freshman year, 9th grade.
So you probably had a giant Shuddy bush back then too.
I mean, luckily that was back when I was wearing Jinkos and shirts that were 2 to 3 sizes too big. So
did anybody see the penis?
No, the penis was not seen by anybody because I was able to get the shirt they went down as soon as they started going. I went after them, and my baggy, I believe it was a Looney Tunes shirt.
It wasn't a 3XL Stussy?
No. Nope.
Kevin, would you, and Shuddy, would you rather shit your pants while doing pull-ups or have a boner pop out?
Boner.
I mean, I guess it would depend on the situation.
Situation.
Would you rather a clituation or a
somewhere
situation?
Where the boner would not necessarily lead to getting into any kind of trouble or being accused of any impropriety.
Well, my buddy didn't get in trouble for popping a boner and having it stick out of his shorts. I mean,
no, right.
Dominic even coined the phrase NRB, no reason boner, and middle school, high school is nothing but NRBs.
Right. But if I was at a park with children, I think I'd rather shit myself than have my boner pop out of my shorts.
That's fair, but I mean,
let's take that
I don't
element
think you're
out
doing
of it.
a pull-up bar. I don't think you're hitting the pull-up bar when you're taking your kids to the playground.
Hey kids, check this out. Want to see how strong I am? boing. Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh no, now I'm shitting too. Oh. Like, I think it would be boner because I feel like shitting is so much gnarlier. Like, I would rather even be like walking down the hallway with a visible pitched tent than like running out of the classroom holding my ass and like clearly shitting myself before I make it out. I mean, neither are ideal, but I mean, especially the position my buddy was in, like, I don't know. It's almost like you got away with a free flash.
Sure.
Like, if you were going to hook up with the cutest girl in school, she would see your naked boner.
Yeah.
That logic might not hold up in court, but I actually did have a moment like Shuddy. I was at a family vacation. Like, we did this family reunion trip in Lavallette, New Jersey, the same week every year. Like, my grandpa and his cousin, who were the same exact age, both started just these enormous families. So, like, my grandpa and his enormous family and my Uncle Len and his enormous family would all get together, and we would just rent a bunch of houses and party our asses off for a week. And we went from when I was a little kid to where I was a little bit older. But when I was young, it was like the afternoon, everybody was in one of the houses, the adults were drinking, the kids were goofing off, and my fucking cousin came up behind me, pantsed me, and the same thing as Shuddy, got my undies too. But this was before the super baggy stuff. So when he got everything down, like completely around my ankles, I lost my balance and fell backwards. So not only did everybody see my cock and balls, but when I fell back, I like rocked on my shoulders and my legs went up in the air. So everybody saw my asshole too.
Bad news, buddy.
In that situation, I'm glad I didn't have a boner. I would rather show.
What is your family, right?
Yeah, I think I'd rather show my family, my butthole, everything, penis, balls, grundle, anus, than my erect penis.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes sense.
All right, where were we before we started talking about
It's
school
just not
boners?
That's just not a side of yourself you want, like, your mom or dad or especially your grandparents to see.
No, and they all saw it. They've
They've
saw
all seen you shit your pants. Granted, you were, a baby, like they changed your diapers type thing,
Well, I shat myself. This is no surprise to anybody, but I shat myself a lot as a kid.
No.
For two reasons. A lot of
You
sharks.
didn't like toilets.
There was one toilet I was scared of, the Glugger, but I pretty much only encountered them in Florida. But
are you speaking to first time listeners right now?
I guess a little bit. But I definitely sharted quite a bit. And then I didn't like showering, and I didn't like going to poop because it disrupted having fun. So if I'm out hanging out with my friends playing in the woods and my ass is like, hey, buddy, you got to poop, I was like, shut up, ass. Can't you see I'm busy? And I would hold it until it got catastrophic. And sometimes
You'd play fart chicken and lose more frequently than you wanted.
yeah. And sometimes it would just like the turd would tongue dart my undies and just leave a little target. Or sometimes it would be a little bit worse. And my mom did my laundry, and I was nervous about her seeing poo in my pants, so I would hide them in my closet. And my mom one time went through my closet and found a treasure trove of poop-stained boxers and yelled at me. And I remember that being very, very embarrassing. I hated that.
All right. Now that we turned off all of our chick listeners, what else do you want to cover?
You guys watch any movies?
I mean, yes, I've seen 2 films, both recent releases.
Hey, me too.
I got
Oh
one.
yeah,
It's a documentary. It's a
Damn it.
documentary both of you either have seen or absolutely need to see.
okay.
I kind of thought we
That's
might
Tell us more.
have a trifecta on one movie that came out this week that we were all excited for, and not The Flash.
I
don't
definitely did not see. Flash is the only very new release that I've seen this weekend.
Am I the
so.
only person that watched Extraction 2?
That was out? That
Yeah,
came
dude.
out?
Came out on Friday.
I fucking asked Cheech if that came out, and he said no.
What are you asking Cheech for?
Son of a bitch.
Ask me.
I mean, he was sitting next to me on the couch.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Well, I watched another Netflix movie, Arnold, the Arnold doc. I watched the first 2 episodes. The first 2 of the there's 3 episodes. I watched the first 2. They're titled Athlete is the first one, Actor is the second, and American's the third. And it's pretty much like Michael Jordan Last Dance for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it fucking rules. It fucking rules so much.
No shit.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
watch
have
that.
to check it out.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
mean, you're one of the biggest Arnold fans I know.
Yeah, and Netflix is all up his butt crack lately with that series Fubar, which I haven't gotten a chance to check out yet, but I know their triangulated marketing plan was to be like, all right, let's release this new series with Arnold and then get like some of his biggest movies all at the same time, and people can just have like an Arnold marathon. And then I saw that documentary got released too.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, it's kind of a similar strategy that what he did for the Pump and Iron doc, and what's the other, and Stay Hungry. So like Stay Hungry was like his first, like, I think big movie that he was in. He was like a supporting actor with Jeff Bridges was in it and Sally Field. And then after they finished shooting it, he didn't have anything to do, and there was going to be a while before the movie came out. So the same guy who did Stay Hungry, him and a fellow movie producer was like, hey, how about we do this documentary about the bodybuilding world? And that became, Pumping Iron, which is one of the more famous documentaries ever. And that like helped blow him up. And then right when like he was riding the high of that, Stay Hungry came out and kind of got a little more attention. Obviously he didn't need that for the Netflix thing, but similar type of idea, I guess. Maybe it's completely coincidental, but fucking rules. I only watched the first 2 episodes, but it's just Arnold porn. If you're at all into Arnold Schwarzenegger, at all into Arnold action movies, like it's a 5-dick documentary. It's fucking awesome.
How long is each episode?
They're each an hour long.
Oh shit.
But again, if you're an Arnold fan, it's like they're not too long at all. It's just it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I want to bang that out. I want to watch that Fubar show. It just got announced for their like a second season. I will say, I'm a movie guy. I'm not as much of as a series guy. So if Arnold was doing a lot more acting, I wish he would just make more movies. But I don't know. Seems like Arnold junkies are pretty pumped on that show.
Fubar.
Yeah.
I heard Cheech told me, I thought maybe not. I thought he told me it wasn't that good or wasn't getting good reviews, but I should have checked it out anyway, so I can believe reviews. But yeah, 2 episodes through it. It's a 5-dicker. If you're into Arnold at all, you should check it out. And the second one where they talk about him becoming like the biggest actor, biggest movie action movie star in the world, they talked about like him and Sylvester Stallone's rivalry. And they had Sylvester Stallone on camera talking about like how, it was like they were the two biggest at the time, and it felt like similar to like a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird rivalry.
Yeah, because there were there were other action stars, but like they were the two just like meatheads.
Yeah, they had the biggest movies. They kind of went back and forth in the box office, and the way they talked about it was like Sylvester Stallone was like, if Arnold killed 10 bad guys, I had to kill 15 in the next movie. It was like that kind of shit. Like if Arnold had a big knife, I had to have a bigger knife. We competed on gun sizes, like everything just had to be like it was me versus him.
Yeah.
And it was pretty interesting. And along those same lines, I rewatched Rocky 1 and 2 because I fucking love those movies. Both five dickers. Don't have to review them, but Arnold doc, definitely check it out.
Every time I log into Paramount Plus, it shows me, for a long time it was showing me the trailer for The Family Stallone.
Oh yeah, his reality show.
His reality show with his very attractive daughters.
Aren't they all? This isn't like just 3 like fucking smoke shows.
Yes.
Damn, dude. Sly is the man.
The only problem is they all sound exactly like him.
That's not true.
That would be fucking hysterical, though.
That wouldn't turn me off at all.
Hey, you want to eat my pussy? You do that 69 thing. I'll suck your dick while you eat my pussy. Yeah.
I would love to do like a Stallone, Schwarzenegger, either bracket or draft.
I mean, we did a whole
everyone's-
episode where we pitted them against each other, and we're like, who has the most five dickers? And Stallone, Schwarzenegger just eked it out, but it was kind of a close battle. Because we all have our differing ones of what we think are five dickers. Obviously, Shuddy doesn't think True Lies is a five dicker.
Because it's not.
I think I've got Cliffhanger as a five dicker. I fucking love Cliffhanger. I bought that on 4K.
I got Eraser as a 5-decker.
Yeah, that's
just crazy talk.
That's something else.
I fucking love that movie.
But Shuddy and I watched The Flash, which, if you want to hear all the spoilery stuff, we do that at the very end of the Easter egg if you're listening to the audio version. So we cover all the, the crowbarred in cameos and the Leo pointing at the TV moments. So we covered all that, all the surprises, and now we can just, give it our keep it vague, and give our review, our analysis, spoiler free. And I don't know. I feel like this has been a weird journey. Like early on, people were saying it was going to be the best superhero movie ever. Then Ezra Miller got in a whole bunch of fucking shit, and Warner Brothers already ate a big fat one by shooting an entire Batgirl movie and then shelving it to never release it. And then like you can't shoot 2 massive big budget superhero movies and release neither of them, or else you're just ruined. So they went full speed ahead, no pun intended, with The Flash. And I don't know if it was just people that work for DC and Warner Brothers trying to like, look, we got to make some money back with this. Just leak early shit and just say it's like the greatest thing ever.
There were opinions of people that I had trusted and were even guests on this very podcast that said things of that nature about this film.
Yep.
And
not the case.
Definitely not the case. The CGI was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Reading between the lines, you're talking about Alex Wilson, right?
Yep. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people that saw The Flash and said it was really good. I did not. I am right there with you, Shuddy. Some of that CGI was laughable. It would be bad for a TV show, let alone a big budget movie.
Like, with all the time that they delayed this movie after Ezra Miller misbehaving, they should have sunk a little bit more money into refining that CGI. It was rough.
It was rough. Like a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 cutscene level.
Yeah. Like I mean, the first big CGI scene with the babies and the dog was laughably animated. Like, it was nothing. It was like, and then any time that he ran through the Speed Force,
Oh yeah, it was like Game Boy level CG, just impossibly bad. And even there were even times where it looked like the Flash suit was CGI'd on him.
It was.
This looks
like
fucking
at the
terrible.
very beginning.
Looked like the Black Hole Sun video.
Yeah, it was like they had not learned any lessons from Green Lantern.
Yeah, why is DC so fucking bad with their CG special effects? I do not get it. Like, people were really, really harsh on Ant-Man's special effects, and there were parts where I agreed with that, but holy fucking shit. For a big-budget superhero movie coming out in 2023, it was really, really distracting.
Yeah. And Ezra Miller, quite annoying.
I agree. Like, Ezra, they were trying too much with the silly, like, almost giving him a Jim Carrey vibe, and it was not working at all. I don't know. I just don't see... I guess Ezra Miller in, the previous DC movies in small doses was acceptable, but as far as carrying an entire movie, 2 thumbs down. That was bad.
Michael Keaton was fantastic.
Yep.
I really liked the Supergirl character. That was also
I did too.
really good, but like everything kind of in between was
Yeah, the cameos were relatively lackluster. And even, the ones that we cover in the Easter egg, they looked just fucking bad. Like, real bad.
The CGI was just not good. Like,
and they kind of threw everything at the fucking wall here to see what would stick. But then they just recycled General Zod as he was the villain from the very first Superman. When DC tried to kick off their own cinematic universe, Zod was the first bad guy. Like, how can you just go fucking back again? Like, I wasn't that big of a fan of it when they did it in Avengers with recycling Loki. It's like, all right, Thor already whipped Loki's ass in the first Thor movie. Now you have all the fucking superheroes together, and they're going after the guy that Thor took down single-handedly. And that movie was still awesome, but that was like a glaring thing, just like, really? Out of all the rogues gallery, all the villains in the entire universe at your disposal, and you just recycle one, it just felt kind of cheap. But like you said, it was fucking cool seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman.
and I like the way that they introduced him too. I thought that was really fun. I mean, it didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours long. It did move at a pretty rapid pace.
Yeah.
The twist was kind of whack.
Yeah.
Just very lackluster. And I think maybe if I hadn't seen how great it was supposedly, I wouldn't be as harsh on it. But seeing those opinions, I thought I was in for a great time. And it was just meh, middle of the road.
Yeah, I agree. It
wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was just eh. Like, it didn't have any of the fun of like absurd fun like Fast X or the other movie that I watched this week. So it wasn't even like a really just fun popcorn flick.
Yeah, it was like I'm trying not
I
to
did
be,
like how they
worked
explaining his origin story into it. That was creative instead of starting with it.
Yeah, they did a decent job of that because, like, obviously the Flash has already been in a couple of movies, so you can't really do the origin like you usually do. But, they went with the Geoff Johns retrofitted from the comics backstory of the Flash. And they tried to even tug at the heartstrings by giving, young Barry Allen these heartfelt moments with his mom and dad when he was a little kid, and it just came off kind of weird and cringy.
Oh my God, that scene was so fucking corny.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Kyle Chandler, it was just like normally I like him.
No, that was Ron Livingston. That was Office
Ron
Space
Livingston.
guy.
Yeah, you're right. It was tough. That scene specifically was real rough. It was corny as hell.
Yeah, the post-credit scene after the credits was unnecessary. I don't know. I actually went and saw this at Kevin Smith's movie theater in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey.
I got out of work a little bit earlier than expected on Saturday, and I almost texted you that we were going to come out, but after doing the math, I'm like, oof, that's 7.5 hours until I can go to bed.
And the event, it wasn't just watching the movie, it was about 5 hours.
Oh yeah, that would have.
It started at 7, and I didn't get out of there until after midnight. So I was, because I was just trying to find fun things to do with the family while I was in town. And my aunt lives in Atlantic Highlands. She lives basically within walking distance of the theater. And I also knew, I'm going to have to see, if we're going to talk about The Flash on the show, I'm going to have to see it while I'm in Jersey. And that movie theater, it used to be, I used to go there a bunch as a kid. My dad and my aunt went there when they were kids. So that's a theater that's been around forever. And now that Kevin Smith bought it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I saw there were options, like you can go see The Flash, or you can watch The Flash with Kevin Smith. I'm like, okay, no brainer. See it with Kevin Smith. And he starts the show by doing an auction. So he comes up with a big bag of stuff, and there's signed posters, signed hats. He had a prototype of a Mr. Potato Head, a Kevin Smith Mr. Potato Head that they sent him to give a thumbs up or thumbs down on, and he was auctioning that off. And that went on for about an hour, and then he starts the movie, and he watches it, and he encourages everybody to cheer. So he was sitting in the back, yelling out, and every time a cameo happened, people would clap, and then people started getting carried away, and they tried to start their own applause breaks at the most awkward moments ever. The lamest thing would happen, it'd be and nobody would join in, and then they'd be like, oh shit. And then he did a discussion afterwards. He's like, all right, so thoughts? Who wants to take a conversation somewhere? And he would just ask, people in the audience would just raise their hands and be like, oh, what'd you think about this part? And could this mean that? And sometimes Kevin Smith Q&As get a little out of control because he's such a fucking sweet, kind guy that he can't cut people off when they're rambling. So somebody will just be like, so I saw Mallrats and I really, really liked it. And then, I watched it a bunch more times and showed it to my friends. And it just goes on and on and on. And then they never even ask a question. But he'll just let them go. So I was like, oh boy, this could be rough. But even when people didn't have the most well thought out questions, he still gave really good answers. I just love listening to Kevin Smith talk about things because every point he makes is so well thought out and clever that he loved the movie, and I was just sitting there man, that was fucking, to quote the youngsters, that was quite mid. But
mid is exactly the word for it.
But Kevin Smith's analysis of it, and backstories, and there's a scene that happens that we talk about in the Easter egg that is Kevin Smith related. So he had a lot to say about that, which was kind of interesting. But it was cool. It was, even though it took a 2.5 hour movie to a 5 hour theater experience, it was a cool way to watch it. But circling back, I can't suck more than 2.5 flash dicks, and that might be generous.
Yeah, middle of the road, 2.5 flash dicks is exactly where I would be.
Sounds pretty mid to me.
The middest of the mid.
Doesn't get any more middle than the exact fucking middle. So what about you, Shuddy? Go ahead. Sorry, Geoff.
I was gonna say someone shave off the tip, give it a 2.4. Fuck these guys.
Yeah, circumcise that dick.
Hold on. There's a bug on my wall and it's gonna die.
Oh, wow. Killed the video for it. All right.
Well, because remember, he's sitting there in just boxer shorts.
Oh, that's right.
So he could have an NBD poke out while he's leaning over trying to kill the bug.
All right, well, Geoff is playing Exterminator.
NRB, I mean.
What else did you see, Shuddy?
John Wick 4.
Oh, I didn't even realize you hadn't seen that.
No, I hadn't. But John Wick is going the way. This is not a complaint. This is not a complaint. But it's following the same formula that the Mission Impossibles and the Fast series is doing, and it's just a very light plot tying together just absurd action sequences, and it's fucking delightful.
Yeah.
Like the end fight scene between Kane, before the movie ends, between Kane and it was fucking ridiculous, but so much fun. So much fun. Bill Skarsgård is just an incredible bad guy.
Yeah, he was a snotty little fucking C word, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just, I really enjoyed it. It, not getting too spoilery. It was a lot of fun, but it was just an absurd action sequence after absurd action sequence after absurd action sequences. Like, how many times can one person get hit by a car in such a short span and continue to get up? Come on.
Yeah.
It's just, but again, so much fun. So much fun.
How many John Wick 4 dicks are you sucking?
425.
Ah, all right. So none of you guys watched Extraction 2, huh?
I didn't really like Extraction 1 that much, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Man, I thought it was sick.
It did have that. Extraction did have that cool single shot fight, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't.
Where there was the one long through a hallway fight with him that it just followed him
I don't fully remember, but I know in the second one, they have a crazy one shot. And it's obvious there is no fucking way they did this in one take, because it goes from I don't think this is a spoiler, but it goes from a prison to a car chase to a train chase. So there's no fucking technical way that it was all done in one take. But I think, every now and then a handrail or something would come across the screen, and maybe that's where they hid an edit or something. But
in John Wick 4, when they're doing that top down one shot,
yeah,
when he's going through the building,
yep.
That was really fucking cool. But I guess I bet you in those transitions,
yes,
is where the edit was for
yeah,
sure.
And I think they did that. But either way, they still had to do really long fight scenes that didn't look like they had any breaks in them. And even though there's clearly some clever editing going where they combined a whole bunch of scenes into one to make it look like one take, the action is so sick that when it does finally end, you're like, oh, holy shit. I can't believe how fucking long that went on. But it's dope. There's John Wick style, double taps to the head, triple taps to the head, really gruesome kills. And it's kind of like the same thing. There's not too much of a plot. The first Extraction ends where you think Chris Hemsworth is pretty much out of commission. And then it's just, he kind of gets himself back to base level and then just gets his ass fucking kicked all over again through a whole separate movie. But it's fucking sick. If they could get, and I don't even know how they would do it, get a better story. It's got 5 dicker potential because the action is just top notch. But
So there's no titties?
No titties.
That's how you make a better action movie. Easiest way right there.
But I mean, if you like the first I think I gave the first extraction 4 dicks, and the second one is also 4 dicks. And then they just announced they're starting production on a third one. So it's clearly Chris Hemsworth's John Wick style franchise.
Hopefully Netflix is paying him well. He's kicking ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Ass taking names.
All right. Well, oh yeah, I was sending Geoff and Shuddy pictures, but I got to pop into New York for the first time in years, and I got to say, I kind of miss New York.
Oh, absolutely. Remember my buddy Nello?
Yeah.
He ended up moving to New York. He was over the LA thing. He was going to move. I think he moved upstate for a short time, visit his family. His sister, Jude, who's actually is like a childhood friend of mine, is how I met him. Or not how I met him, but I'm better friends with her originally. She has, I think, 2 kids now. So he wanted to, do the uncle thing for a couple months before getting to Brooklyn and continuing his budding movie career. So I hear you. Would you ever move back there?
I don't know.
I mean, for the right gig, you would.
For the right gig, for sure. But as far as permanent, I'm such a bitch when it comes to the winter.
Sure.
I hate the
Me
cold.
too.
I don't want to deal with snow. But I mean, just being able to explore that massive city so easily with the subway and stuff, and I went to that head shop that you and I used to frequent all the time. Shisha's still kicking, still full of fucking cool
Is the
pieces and bongs.
Slaughtered Lamb Pub House, is that still there?
Closed down.
Ah,
It was boarded up.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Was Down the Hatch still there?
I don't know. I didn't notice.
You had to walk like 20 more feet. You just stopped at Sisha, didn't you? Turn around.
No, I walked around a little bit, but there was definitely some spots that I used to hit that have closed down. One of the spots that I used to love was Pommes Frites, which basically all they sell are Belgium style fries in a paper cone, and then they have a list of like 30 different dipping sauces you can get. So I had that for breakfast. For breakfast, I had
Nice.
Belgian fries with dipping sauces, and then I had to get a New York slice while I was there, just because, pizza in LA, if you're not going to either Lucifer's or Massa's for deep dish, you can't get really good East Coast style pizza. And it always reminds me of that episode from The Office when Pam's working in New York and Michael asks her to overnight him a slice of pizza, and it just cuts to him opening an envelope and pulling out just a completely unprotected slice of pizza and stuffs it in his mouth. He's like, "I'm the Godfather. I'm going to eat this pizza and then I'm going to kill you." Every time.
So did you go to Sbarro for a nice authentic slice of New York City pizza?
No, I didn't go full Michael Scott. I went to an actual pizza place.
Where'd you go?
Joe's. Right by Shisha.
What was that, 6 or whatever? Or Avenue Americas? And
It's on 4th.
yeah.
But then I got caught in a fucking rainstorm with no umbrella. I completely forgot that it rains outside. And I got back to my sister's in Hoboken fucking drenched. Looked like I just climbed out of the Hudson.
What's your sister's spot in Hoboken like? Like, is it cool? Because I remember people moving to Hoboken after we graduated college and said it was an awesome little area. Is it still cool?
Yeah, it's like, so Jersey City kind of looks like what people who only know about New Jersey from gangster movies. That Jersey City looks like that. Like
Not good.
Not good, but it looks old school Italian. It's all just like short brick buildings all mashed together, and nothing looks like it's been updated since the 70s. So it's like rusty metal awnings, and it looks like, you know, Henry Hill should be hanging out outside parking people's cars or something. And Hoboken is sort of half that, half college kids.
Gentrified.
Yeah, and my sister lives basically dead center. And Hoboken, I think, is like 1 square mile. So she's like right in the center. Yeah, it's cool. And I think she moved there at the right time because a lot of people during COVID were trying to get out of the city. It's like, if I'm not going into the office, why am I paying New York rent? So Hoboken definitely got the fucking memo about that, because I remember when I worked for Stern, there were a lot of my coworkers and my buddies that lived in Hoboken. So I lived next town over in Weehawken, just commute and party at their places every now and then. And I was like, man, I wonder if that's still the case. Like, is living in Hoboken a nice, cheaper alternative when you work in the city? And I think Uncle Google told me that the average 1-bedroom rent in Hoboken now is between $3,500 and $4,000 a month. And when I
definitely got the memo.
When I lived in Weehawken, I mean, granted, I moved out of there 13 years ago, so I moved in about 17 years ago. And my rent stayed the same price the whole time I lived there, $700 a month. And I'm willing to bet there is absolutely nowhere to live across the Hudson for $700 a month.
That's just...
But it was cool,
When we were in
being there
college,
with...
I think I paid... Sorry, my bad.
Go ahead.
I was saying college, I paid, I think, $550, then maybe $600 a month for my 1-bedroom in Queens. Well, I mean, it was 1 bedroom in a 6-bedroom house. So,
yeah, you're probably
but
not
still.
finding that anymore either.
No, I mean, a 6-bedroom house in Queens, there's no way you're getting that for $3,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed at my sister's place for 2 nights because I wanted to meet my new nephew. I wanted to meet baby Jack, who's fucking adorable, and that little baby can crush out some farts like a champion, which made me very proud.
Kevin.
But
Oh, sorry. You finish your story, and then I have a game.
oh no, that's
Real
pretty much
quick.
it. They couldn't leave the baby, so I pretty much just had to go adventuring by myself, which can only take you so far, which was, kind of a bummer. And they were each just like, yeah, I'll watch the baby, you go out with Kevin. And I don't think either of them wanted to leave the baby. So I just had to go and do a couple small solo missions. Couldn't get wasted, couldn't go out drinking like I wanted to, which is probably for the best. I have some epically horrible New York drinking stories. And
Who doesn't?
I don't think I can survive any of those at 40. But what's your game, Shuddy?
So I'm just looking at your old apartment building in Weehawken.
Which my old roommate owns now.
Who?
K-Mac.
He does. He bought it for a lot of money. I was going to ask you if you wanted to guess what the Zestimate from Zillow is on this property right now. Not what K-Mac bought it for in 2016, which I do have that number, but we won't air that out.
Yeah, you can text that. You can text that to me. So wait, it's just saying it's like buying the entire property or to rent? Because it's basically it's an old brothel from the 1800s. So each floor of it, there's 3 floors and a basement, so it's four floors. Each floor was a unit. But so this is the price of the whole building.
8 bed, 8 bath, 4,500 square feet.
$4 million?
Am I supposed to guess? Where is it again? Well,
Weehawken.
8 baths, 8 bedroom.
Yeah.
I I'll say 6.5 million.
All right. Both of you are way off of the mark because it's not that high, but it's 1.5 million, which is still seems like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, but you would never want to buy
I don't
that
have
whole
that.
place and move your family in because it's structured like an apartment building. There's stairs.
No, you
that
would
just go
buy
up
it
the
to
middle.
rent it out, but I mean, to recoup your investment in a reasonable amount of time would be very difficult.
Yeah, you're not fucking charging anybody $700 a month.
Because
to
the
live
people
there.
who owned it when you lived there, they lived on the first floor, right? And they
Yeah.
rented out the basement to you, Steve, and Naboa. And then there was an apartment on the second floor, and then your original apartment was on the third floor?
Yeah.
Or was it 4 floors?
Third.
I remember that first time that Dom and I came to see you, your bedroom in that upstairs apartment was big enough for your desk and your bed.
Yeah.
And that was about the so like it was the three of us hanging out, sitting on your bed, watching TV, waiting to go out into the city.
Yeah, and when it would get windy or storm, I could feel the whole fucking building swaying. It was like living in a treehouse.
Good old days.
Yep. Well, shit my fucking pants. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you need more MSPH in your life, please check out patreon.com/Mad Scientist Party Hour. We do a bonus podcast there every week after we record this one. And we are also in the throes of Crafter Geoff Shuddy Edition, Season 3. We've finally made it to the part where all the contestants have been selected. So we are now officially entering the competition phase. And the reviews are in. People fucking love Crafter Geoff. So $5 a month doesn't get any better than that. Definitely worth your time and money. So check it out, patreon.com/Mad Scientist Party Hour. You can also follow us on Instagram. I'm at Kevin Kraft.
At Shuddy Boy.
At Jeff R Records.
And at MSPH Podcast. You can also check out Jeff's sports betting podcast, Outkick Bets with Jeff Clark.
Yep, I'm talking about the Travelers Championship in Connecticut this week. Be breaking down the NFL, previewing the NFL, and following months. So check that out.
Nice. Also, if you would like to see our beautiful supermodel-like faces throughout these episodes, youtube.com/Mad Scientist Party Hour. Every subscribe, like, and all that fucking helps us out in the algorithm. Yeah, I'm not built for YouTube. And
Who is? Apparently our whole show isn't.
and you can also follow at John Cooper Movie if you'd like to help out a homie. That would make me look super cool. The more followers we get. And I guess that's it. Shuddy, you got any Chuckle Hut dates or anything you need to plug?
Nope, I'm taking a break from the road. Just enjoying my summer.
Yeah, why not, right? Fuck
You've
it.
earned it.
You have earned it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. But until next time, something.